What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. So, Aisho Speed ends his African tour in Algeria after he was disrespected and threatened by the Algerian people. Now, I knew this was going to happen. Everybody, all real Africans knew this was going to happen. That he was going to go to Algeria, and those people up there were going to treat him that way. Now, this is what I have to say to the Algerians, the Muslim Algerians. You did not display what it was to be Muslim. You embarrassed Islam. You embarrassed your country. You embarrassed your people. You have made yourself an embarrassment to Africa. Now, I'm approaching this one a tad bit different from the Egyptian one because we know in Egypt, it's a systematic, those are Arabs. And they're just trying to steal African history. But you guys, you Algerians have been through a whole lot. And it seems like you guys have forgotten. And you guys suffer from whatever syndrome white people and their bullets, bombs, and germs do to people when they go colonized. You Algerians who displayed such disgusting behavior, and I don't want to hear an excuse about soccer, blah, blah. It's just an excuse. Because you managed to out-racist the Europeans. It's almost like you are compensating for you not being European enough. You want to be extra racist to Aisho Speed, who represents what a real North African looks like. An indigenous, foundational black African. Because North Africa were inhabited by foundational black Africans until you Europeans migrated to Africa a few thousand years ago. And just recently, the Italians and various other Europeans in recent history. You Algerians, along with the Moroccans and the Egyptians, you North Africans are an amalgamation of many European expatriates, many European refugees from Europe, mixing with the foundational black Africans of North Africa. And for some reason, maybe under Islam, under your Arab worship, because you're not even Arab. The Arab people of the Arab Peninsula does not consider you Arab. They look at you as lesser than. Even your Egyptian brethren next to you look at you as lesser than. Lesser than. But yet, somehow, the insecurities about your identity have you worshiping Arabs who wouldn't spit on you if you was in fire. Your insecurities about yourselves have you worshiping white people who will drop nuclear bombs on your head after genociding you former Greek, I guess y'all want to call yourself Arab, recent inhabitants of North America. So you colonized North Africa and displaced the original inhabitants of that land. And then you yourselves got colonized by the French, by the Italians, by various other people. You are, in fact, Europeans and African mix. So I can't even say that all of you guys are not black. But I know that a lot of you Algerians are embracing your blackness. And those black people are there. And you guys don't highlight your black people. The same way North America does not highlight the inhabitants, the native inhabitants of that land. You don't see too many Native Americans, Choctaws and Chippewas and Blackfoots and Khoi. You don't see them walking around the United States as a normal, healthy population amongst many. Why? Because they have been genocided by those very same Europeans that genocided you. During exactly the same time they were genociding the Native Americans, they were genociding you while you were genociding the Africans. You see how that works? So despite all the racism you receive from those white people, you still find time to be racist towards black people because you think for some reason, if you can just be more racist to the indigenous population that reminds you that you are more than what you see in the mirror, you think that's going to bring you closer to whiteness. I'm not sure if you figured it out yet, but white people will never accept you. Arabs will never accept you. You are mixed mulattoes. That's what you are. But a lot of you are just mostly white. That's just the truth. And the thing is, I feel sad for you Algerians. I feel sad for you North Africans. Because the thing is, your population is not that big. The only reason you're there is because of happenstance. And you don't have any future prospects of a growing population. And Africa, Black Africa, foundational Black Africa is growing and bursting in numbers. And soon your nations will need to reincorporate the foundational Black Africa within your country in order for it to operate. The same goes for Europe. The same goes for the rest of the world, because only foundational Black Africans have managed to keep their populations growing in an upward momentum. But because you Algerians capitulate to white Western methods of living, because you capitulate to European ideals and European racism, the scourge within your communities, that I feel sorry for you. Your population also is dwindling down. So it is only a matter of time until you have to face that Black African, that foundational Black African that you hate so much. Because truly and honestly, it's you who you hate. You hate yourselves. You hate that Black African part of you. You hate it and admire it at the same time, because your youth, the young ones in your community, they don't hate us. They love us. And there's nothing you old Algerians can do to change that. You see, Black African people, foundational Black Africans, no matter where they are, we protrude light and energy. People are naturally attracted to us. There is a level of jealousy that I see in you guys. There's a serious level of jealousy that manifests itself into hate. You're not as powerful as that white, savage, barbarian European, but you're not as powerful as that natural born African, that foundational Black African. You're somewhere in the middle with your identity crisis. And you project that onto everybody else. It was nothing short of disgraceful how an African American came to your country to highlight the best parts of you, and you showed who you really were. You showed 44 million of ISO Speeds fans who could not point to Algeria on the map, but now they can point to Algeria on the map now, and they know exactly who you are. That means you're going to have to change, because no African on this planet is going to ever respect you, ever infuse your economies with any of their Black African money, because they will not support irrational racism from people who still trying to figure out who the hell they are as a group of people, who still haven't figured out you are in Africa and you are still a guest in Africa. And if you don't get your shit together, you will no longer be a guest in Africa, because this is a battle that lasts centuries. This little flash in the pan of your existence in North Africa can change like that. The same way it changed when the French came and killed 1.5 million of you people. There's not that many of you there. And what does the white man do when they colonize? They grape women. A lot of you, your population is a result of white men graping your women. Do you understand? I understand that. A lot of the educated world understand that. History understands that. So African people, we're not, listen, if you're going to continue to be irrationally racist and you're going to fight against the people that have never done anything to you, Black African, foundational Black Africans have never done anything to you Arabs, or to you Arab wannabe, mixed mulatto, European, Levant, mixed groups of people. While you kiss that white man's ass who dropped a nuke, there's only been so many people who had the displeasure of having a nuclear bomb dropped on their country, and you are one of them. Yet you worship it. Maybe it's maybe that the chemicals are still in the air affecting your brains. But if you want to be embraced by the African population, you're going to have to figure out who you are and what you want to be and what relationships you want to have with foundational Black Africans in the future, because it's not going to be pretty for you guys. It's not going to turn out right. You're not going to do your offspring any justice, the ones that remain. Because like I said, Black Africans, foundational Black Africans, will completely and totally take back the North. And when we are the majority in the North, once again, and we lift up our traditional inhabitants and we can empower them to take back the country that belonged to them before you immigrated there from other lands. If you guys don't get it together, you and your descendants are going to have a rough time, just like those Europeans. You better pay attention to history, because history will teach you what the future has in place for you if you continue on with this sick, mentally ill, arrested development, cultural attitude that you all collectively carry, simply because you can't handle the fact that you were dominated by some Europeans. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Did you see what happened to Speed while in Algeria? Because unfortunately, it's not a good look.
They throwing stuff? Turn stone. Ah, shit. Why they throwing stuff? Ah. Oh, hell no. What they throwing? Don't panic. I'm not even on a rivalry team. What the hell? Hell no. We got to get out of here.
See, Asher Speed was live streaming whilst in Algeria as part of his Africa tour while he was attending a Super Cup football match just yesterday. And while he was there, as you can see, some fans began throwing bottles and other objects at him, leading him to actually have to be escorted from the venue completely, and even him actually having to end his stream as well. Now, while this is all happening, some watchers of the live stream actually reported hearing some people call Speed the N-word in a derogatory way. And that, of course, is in spite of most, if not all of them, being black themselves. But what you need to remember is that racism is not just a matter of one group dominating another in a legal or systemic sense. Because it's true, people of any background or even the same background can use racial stereotypes or derogatory slurs even towards themselves. For example, a black person may target another black person because they see the other one as different, even though they might share the exact same ancestry. But this should not be about dragging an entire country. No, this should be about acknowledging that racism exists everywhere, unfortunately, and pretending otherwise only protects it. So if you're not prepared to call it out even when it seems inconvenient, maybe you should be asking yourself if you were ever serious about ending it to begin with.
Yo! I'm not gonna lie, bro. Everybody was right about Speed's tour. When Speed left Ethiopia, everybody said he might as well just not even visit North Africa because they were gonna be racist towards him. It's safe to say that everybody was right. Speed stream in Egypt, we already know how that went down. The first day in Algeria was smooth, but once he was in the city, bro, things took a dark turn. He had made an arrangement to visit their stadium and help promote what they got going on with their soccer culture, right? On the way to the stadium, he was called the hard R. He didn't even take offense to it because he was like, I'm not going to let an individual judge the behavior of an entire country. Well, what about an entire stadium of people? So rather than welcoming Speed with open arms, do you know what they did? They were mad that he was a special guest, started throwing tomatoes at him, and they were waiting for him to sit down to swarm him because they didn't want him to film.
Throwing stuff! Ah! Oh, hell no! What they throwing? Don't panic! I'm not even on a rivalry team!
Even though the stream got cut early and he was met with such overwhelming hate, he still said he enjoyed his time there. Why is he getting a reaction like that? All he wanted to do was come to the country, experience and showcase the culture to the world.
So here's what, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was waiting for Speed to actually reach the north part of Africa just for y'all to see the difference of Africa. Now let me tell y'all something. As a person who grew up in Africa, the first time I experienced color-based, difference and treatment was actually in Africa first. And yes, it was in Africa. But let me get to the point. Egypt. Now Egypt, let me tell you guys, these guys still think they're better than I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. They still have that mentality. They had it from a long time ago. They still have it now. They just think they're better. Now, when the lady that was on the actual Speed stream was actually telling about the whole missing nose and all that, I can't believe that they still like out here talking this bollocks like it's the weakest link. Come on. They still thinking that they got rid of the evidence and the truth when the truth is just in plain sight. But anyways, let's go to Algeria now. See, the more you go up north, like Algeria, Morocco, and all those places up there, they get super hatred. Yeah, when you're a certain type of, soiled color. You know what I'm saying? It gets super hatred over there. So that's why you see Speed, what he's going through over there. Now let me show you guys what I'm talking about.
That don't make sense. You don't like being filmed? But a football match is filming everybody. They keep throwing water at me. Oh, crap. Oh, bro, no. They don't like me here, bro. We should just leave. You can't let stuff like that.
And that's the sad reality I be telling y'all about Africa. You know what I mean? There's places you're gonna go and feel like home, and there's places that you're probably gonna question. That's why I say do your research before you get up and go anywhere in Africa. Love y'all. If y'all want more information, lock in.
They don't like to film them, okay?
They had a football game.
Yeah, but they are ultras, you know, the ultras mentality.
That don't make sense. Get water thrown at me.
They're clapping for you, though.
Are they clapping? All right, man, I'm like, let's see. Okay, I like them. I like them. I like them. I like this club. Okay. Whoa, God damn. Oh, shit. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Bro, they... Bro, they lied. Bro. This is crazy.
Them to film them, you know.
They like you, they don't like on camera.
But they like you, they say.
But they like you, they like
you.
That don't make no sense.
The murdered bodies of hundreds of Algerian Muslims were once thrown into this river by the French police. The French occupation of Algeria began with the 1830 invasion, initiating a brutal colonial period. Uprisings were met with severe repression, mass arrests, and public executions. On October 5, 1961, the French Prefecture of Police imposed a curfew for Algerian Muslim workers, French Muslims, and French Muslims of Algeria. In response, 30,000 to 40,000 Algerians peacefully marched towards Paris on the evening of October 17, 1961. To protest the curfew, but the demonstration turned into a massacre. That night, French police beat, killed, and threw between 200 and 300 Algerians into the Seine, the river that runs through the center of Paris, and arrested about 12,000 Algerians in the crackdown. Yet, the official report the next day mentioned only 3 deaths. The French government censored the news, destroyed archives, and blocked journalists from investigating the incident. To this day, no one has been prosecuted for the killings. Colonization, heinous crimes, and massacres. Does this sound familiar? The overbearing injustice is something we're seeing today in Palestine, and it raises the question, how many in Gaza will never see justice? You see, true justice may elude us in this world, but Allah is Al-Adil, the most just, and He commands us to resist injustice with everything that we have, our hands, tongues, and hearts. Those whose blood spilled in the waters of the Seine and in the streets of Gaza remind us exactly what we strive for: justice in this life and in the next.
They tried to erase this story, but it survived. In 1960, during Algeria's fight for independence, France tested its first nuclear bomb. However, they didn't test it on French soil, they dropped it on the Algerian Sahara. It was called Je Bois Bleu, and I've probably butchered the pronunciation, named after a desert rodent and the colours of the French flag. But this wasn't just a test, it was a message. A 70 kiloton explosive, over 3 times more powerful than Hiroshima, was dropped during the Algerian Independence War on February the 13th, 1960. In the years that followed, the consequences became horrifyingly clear. There were rising cancer rates, widespread respiratory issues, and even the year of ophthalmia, an outbreak of painful eye infections across the region. The radiation didn't just stop at Algeria's borders, it drifted across to Libya, Mauritania, and even reached as far as Spain and Italy. One of the worst hit areas was Fezzan in southern Libya. Over the years, the region experienced alarming increases in cancer rates, birth defects, and hereditary illnesses, many of which continue to affect families to this day. Despite the scale of the health crisis, meaningful efforts to study the fallout or support affected communities have been minimal. Investigations have often been blocked or ignored, leaving the people of Fezzan still fighting for recognition, accountability, and justice. The legacy of France's nuclear testing extends beyond its immediate environmental and health impacts. It also reshaped the landscape of global nuclear diplomacy. With its newfound nuclear capabilities, France sought to carve out a more independent stance on the world stage, challenging the existing dynamics within NATO and asserting its sovereignty. Join the discussion in the comments below and follow for more explorations into the compelling stories that have shaped our world.
3 brutal facts about the French colonial rule in Algeria. 1. France occupied Algeria from 1830 until 1962 when they declared their independence. 2. The French conducted nuclear experiments during this time, taking the lives of 42,000 Algerians. They also used electrical torture by attaching wires to people's body parts. 3. It is believed that up to 1.5 million Algerians lost their lives during this war.
I don't really know what this comment means because I come from one of the world's oldest and richest and most beautiful cultures. We are one of the only cultures in the world that is matrilineal, where actually the woman is the head of the family or of the household. We use a writing script called Tifinak, which is still one of the world's oldest written writing scripts still in existence. It's more than 3,500 years old. We have been living in the Sahara Desert for nearly 2,000 years, surviving one of the world's most brutal and harshest climates. My tribe, the Kel Hagar in the south of Algeria, held off French motorized regiments for nearly 30 years during the French colonization of Algerie du Sud, or the south of Algeria. So I mean, yes, I come from a very rich and ancient culture. We were eating couscous before most people even knew what couscous was. We were drinking tea before most people even knew what tea was. So we don't really need lectures from outsiders on whether our culture is ours or not, but yeah.
No way, this can't be real. Oh no, I'm not smiling, I'm in pain.
When Hadija Benhamou from Adrar won Miss Algeria in 2019, her triumph shone a light on the racism in Algeria. Her nose was too wide, some said. Her hair too kinky. She wasn't the true depiction of Algeria, they said. Black Algerians like Hadija are indigenous to southern Algeria. They account for an estimated 10% of the country's total population, with the trans-Saharan slave trade having lasted some 1,300 years from the 7th century to the 20th century. North Africa not only contributed to the transit of slaves elsewhere, but also relied on slavery internally for fieldwork, domestic work, and concubinage. While this is no longer the case, in Algeria, black identity remains largely suppressed. After independence, Algeria's ruling elites chose to suppress identity issues because they saw diversity as a threat to their hold on power. Also discriminated against are the Amazigh, also known as Berbers. They have inhabited Northern Africa for more than 12,000 years. Indeed, they are North Africa's indigenous inhabitants. So, Algeria and other North African countries must painstakingly combat all forms of subtle and explicit racism in their midst.
I don't think I belong here, bro. I'm about to dip.
They're just excited.
Hey, don't throw water, bro. Don't throw water. Don't throw no water. It's at 5 o'clock. All right. So I'm about to leave, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, calm down. Oh, they don't want the camera. No camera. Let's get out there. Huh? Wait, it's okay. Okay.
Get out of here. Let's get out of here. I'm leaving. We are out, bro.
Guys, move out the way.
We leaving, chat. Hey, keep throwing water.
Open up.
What is wrong with them?
What is the genetic breakdown of Algeria? Are they just Arabs? We averaged all ethnic groups of Algeria, and here's the result. The smallest ancestral component of Algerian ancestry is sub-Saharan African origin at 6.4%. Keep in mind that this is in addition to the ancient North African admixture already present, which we will mention later. The next largest ancestry of Algerians might be surprising to you as it is from Italy. At 7.2%, this ancestry likely entered in different waves from ancient Phoenicians, ancient Romans to medieval kingdoms like Emirate of Sicily. Now, despite most of country identifying as Arabic and speaking Arabic, admixture from Arabian Peninsula is only 7.4% of Algerian genome. This corresponds with Arabic influence mainly being cultural and genetic influencing decreasing the further you are from the Arabian Peninsula. The second highest component of Algerian ancestry at 8.4% is the one with roots in Levant. Most of it likely entered when Levantine Phoenicians established Punic colonies in modern-day Algeria, but some of it likely also entered during the Roman Empire and Islamic era as well. Finally, the largest component of Algerian ancestry at 70.6% is the native medieval North African Berber ancestry. This ancestry was established in the Iron Age from the admixture of native Ibero-Mauritian and incoming European farmers from Iberia.
I still get confused. I always say like Moroccans are also Arabs. No?
We're Africans, bro. Berbers. We are.
Algerians, Africans as well, but they speak.
They're Moroccans, bro. Algerians don't want to agree, bro, but they are Moroccans, bro. The whole of North Africa was called El Maghreb back in the day. What does Maghreb mean? Morocco. Don't give me no khara, all right?
See that you're speaking Arabic, so I just call them Arabs.
Yeah. That's what I mean. We speak Arabic, bro. So it's kind of it's all confusing. It's all. But we speak French. We speak Spanish. My surname Barba is Spanish.
That's what I call my dad.
What?
Barba.
Well, yeah, Barba. No, Barba means black beard.
Okay.
But Barba means that.
Yeah.
The girls call me Baba.
Are North Africans real Africans? That's the question you're asking. The real indigenous North Africans are black, brown. That's the truth. I don't care if you like to hear it. Here is a Berber man. Here is a Tuareg man. Here is a Fulani man. They look the same. They dress the same. The women have the same face paintings. They have the same music, same culture. These are examples of real indigenous North African tribes, or Moors as the Spanish feared them. But North Africa today have many descendants of white Arab colonizers, European, Spanish, Italians, French, that are not indigenous North Africans, and they have the same racist colonial mentality as their forefathers. And they oppress black Berbers, black Tuaregs, and black Fulani, so they have to flee down the Sahara desert to the Sahel area.
The Arab Egyptians began to invade the Sudan. The Italians began to invade Ethiopia. The French invade Morocco and Algeria. The Spanish invade Mauritania and what is now called Sahara. The French invade what is Senegal, Mali area, while the Portuguese invaded what is part of Guinea area, while the British invades, again, what is Nigeria and Ghana, and the German invades what is Gabon, Congo, and Angola, and Namibia, but the Portuguese controls Angola, so the Germans had to run down to Namibia. In the course of all of this, when the fighting was finished and the bloody wars had been fought, the Germans was left with the short end of the stick. Notwithstanding, they had called the conference in the first place to cut Africa up between the Europeans. But now Kaiser finds himself cut out of the deal by the turn of the century, the 1900s, and he said, look, unless you give me a better piece of the land, because they hadn't discovered uranium in Namibia yet, and he didn't realize the true value of the farmland in Tanzania to the economy of Europe yet. So stuck with Tanzania and Namibia, which is mostly a desert, the Germans hit the ceiling. And when the Germans couldn't get a better deal on the African mineral resources, Germany went to war to find those resources in Europe. While the British, with the Arab Egyptians, began to invade the Sudan,
Boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.